the reality, most companies that go public do that to raise capital. We haven't needed to raise capital, and so that has not been a driving force. We have talked a little bit about would we go public, and it's like, well, the U.S. market until recently has been very hostile, and like, why would we even try to have that conversation? I mean, I guess the exact answer to the question, will we IPO in 2025? I think that's a definitive no.
Okay.
We're in 2025, and it certainly takes a little bit of time to get there. But I also think you have to ask yourself, okay, how does Ripple benefit from being a public company? And therefore, is it a high priority for us? So what we've said is there's no imminent plans to go public. I will acknowledge that a change in the SEC in the United States, as he said earlier, as conditions change, you never say never, and you reevaluate as you.
Hey, what's going on, Bull Runners? Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into game-changing news that could shape your portfolio and the entire market. Imagine this, a major crypto player just made a $1 billion move that's got Wall Street buzzing. Bitcoin's teetering at a critical $85,000 mark. Will it soar or crash? And hold up, did President Trump just propose something so wild it could flip the financial world upside down? These aren't just headlines. These are signals of a massive shift happening right now. The problem, though, most people are too busy to connect the dots, and that's where you risk getting left behind. But don't worry, I've got you covered. In this video, we're breaking down these stories in simple terms, showing you why they matter and how they could impact your crypto game. Plus, we will be jumping over to X to find out all the breaking news that's happening in the crypto world right now. We'll be jumping over to Forex Factory to find out the breaking news on the financial world. We will also be jumping over into the XRP charts, looking for the next resistance and support for XRP. We'll also be checking up on our short-term and long-term momentum waves. We'll dive deeper into the fact that Hidden Road secures a FINRA registration. This is absolutely huge for Ripple. And the major financial news that came out today with the jobless claims that could help stabilize Bitcoin. And so much more in today's video. And if you're like most people where you don't have the opportunity to spend hours a day in the crypto news like we do for you here on this channel, and we bring that to you in a condensed manner, make sure you subscribe today. And if you are still feeling bullish about this current bull run, let me know by commenting 777 down below. But first things first, let's head over to CoinMarketCap and check out the overall health of the crypto market. Today, we are coming in at $2.67 trillion. It is up just a smidge of 0.69%. Trading volume is down again, only at $62 billion traded in the last 24 hours. Fear and greed index starting to tick up a little bit more. We are still in the fear level. We're at 32. Yesterday was at 30. Last week was at 21. Altcoin season index still at 17 out of 100, meaning it is still 100% Bitcoin season. Bitcoin dominance coming in at 63.2%, which is up 2.64%. The Bitcoin ETF tracker having a horrible day in the charts yesterday, down $171 million after having a tiny smidge move to the upside of 76 million. It lost all of those gains and tremendously dropped some more. And again, we follow the ETF tracker very closely because it is a leading indicator when you're seeing volume really flowing into the ETF or out of the ETF. That is typically where price is going. We've had 3 consecutive weeks to the downside now. This week is not fully over, but we are down $95 million. Top 5 cryptos by total market cap. Bitcoin number 1 at $1.6 trillion. Ethereum at number 2 at $191 billion. Tether at number 3 at $144 billion. XRP at number 4 at $120 billion. BNB Binance coming in at $83 billion. And Solana up $69 billion. Now, what's interesting, in the last 7-day percentage gain, Solana has really made some great gains to the upside, 19% in the last 7 days. Heading over to Forex Factory to check out the financial news that's important to you. Yesterday, as you know, was the core retail numbers, and Jerome Powell coming out and speaking and tanking the market while he was talking literally live. As soon as he started talking, the markets started dropping because he's continuing to say he is not going to lower the interest rates. The interest rates must be lowered. It would significantly help out the economy. Right now, people are penny pinching. There is no liquidity. And if we were to lower interest rates, people would be willing to start to actually spend again. We are currently sitting at 4.5% as far as interest rates go. A 1/4 or 0.5% interest rate drop down to a 4 would be fantastic for the current market. But as you probably saw in the news today, Trump coming out and blasting Jerome Powell, saying that he should be fired immediately, should be leaving his post. So there is a financial civil war going on between the United States and the Federal Reserve, which is not a United States federal agency. It is actually a privately owned bank. Some of you guys are aware of that. Some of you are not. But I just want to make you aware we are now in a financial civil war as well. Unemployment claims did come out today. Really, really positive news. Forecasted for 225,000 unemployment claims, only came in at 215,000. Unemployment claims measures the number of individuals who filed for unemployment insurance in the first time during the past week. The usual effect of this number, actual less than forecast, is good for the United States dollar. So that's great news for our employment and our economy. Less people were fired or had to leave their job because of being laid off, and they did not apply for unemployment. Now, tax season has come and gone. It's officially over. You were supposed to have officially filed for your taxes or filed an extension, but a lot of people are fighting back against this. And we know President Trump called on Congress to abolish the income tax entirely. Obviously, that wouldn't be in effect for 2025. Will it be for 2026, 2027? When will it happen? But take a listen to this.
America is going to be very rich again, and it's going to happen very quickly. It's time for the United States to return to the system that made us richer and more powerful than ever before. Do you know the United States in 1870 to 1913, all tariffs, and that was the richest period in the history of the United States, relatively speaking. In other words, relatively. And they set up the Great Tariff Commission of 1887, and this commission had one function: what to do with all the money that we took in. It was so enormous that they had no idea. It was a blue ribbon committee. It was set up 1887, and what to do with all of the money that we had. And again, Teddy Roosevelt was a beneficiary, because when McKinley was killed, he took over this vast sum of money, and he did all of those national parks and all of the other things. And I'm not knocking him, but he was given a vast amount of money. And that was all made through tariffs. As we had no income tax. The income tax came in 1913. As I said in my speech last week, instead of taxing our citizens to enrich foreign nations, we should be tariffing and taxing foreign nations to enrich our citizens. Does that make sense, right?
So an interesting take. Most people around the world, most people in the United States had never thought of it this way, but Trump wants to have the External Revenue Service taxing and collecting tariff money and taxing other countries as opposed to the United States citizens. As you guys saw in the intro of the video, Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple doesn't need to raise capital. There's no IPO in 2025. We haven't needed outside funding because they've been selling the XRP, dumping on us at the first of every single month. A lot of people out there listening to this video are like, they don't sell their XRP. They're holding it for on-demand liquidity, blah, blah, blah. But if you take a look at historically, the 1st through the 5th of every month, XRP's price has dropped. And we all know that on the 28th, 29th, 30th, 31st-ish, they always release the escrow, and they have been locking a lot of the escrow back up, sometimes all of it, but they still have reserves of XRP they can sell on us. And as I was talking to you about the civil war within the financial markets, Scott Bessent has cautioned White House officials on attempts to fire Federal Reserve Chair Powell. Now, if you heard just recently, Scott Bessent said that he meets with Jerome Powell every single week. And for those of you not aware, Scott Bessent is the Secretary of the Treasury of the United States. Heading over to headline number 1, Ripple acquisition of Hidden Road secures FINRA registration. The Ripple-owned Hidden Road is now a financial industry regulatory authority member, which expands its broker-dealer capabilities, which is very, very positive for XRP holders. This is a move that enhances its capability in the fixed income markets. And remember, Ripple has officially acquired Hidden Road. So Ripple owns Hidden Road, just so you guys have an understanding of how this relationship is working. As a FINRA broker-dealer, Hidden Road can further develop its fixed income prime brokerage services and extend its capabilities in traditional markets. The company announced on April 17th, this includes offering institutional clients regulatory compliant clearing and financial services across fixed income securities. The exciting thing is Hidden Road was already doing billions and billions and billions of dollars worth of transactions. Now that's only going to be able to expand. Membership in FINRA is considered a significant commitment to compliance and investor protection. It also boosts registrants' credibility in the eyes of investor bankers. Hidden Road is clearing more than $10 billion in daily transactions on behalf of more than 300 institutional clients. When it was founded in 2018, Hidden Road focused mainly on foreign exchange markets before expanding into digital assets. And David Schwartz came out and praising this, saying, defining moment for XRP's ledger by expanding the settlement layer's use case across traditional financial markets. Now, as we've been talking a lot about the XRP ledger, real world assets, the fact that as the ledger expands and it gets more and more capability, XRPL, then it's going to start bringing on more real world assets, stocks, bonds, treasuries. We even have potential real estate coming on board for the XRP ledger. Under Ripple, Hidden Road will exponentially expand its capacity to service its pipeline and become the largest non-bank prime broker globally. This is absolutely mind-blowing. And let's not forget that in January, Ripple secured a money transmitter license in both Texas and New York, allowing the company to facilitate capital transfers within those states. So what's really interesting, as we continue to read these developments for Ripple and how they are going to help XRP, people start to get extremely angry. Why is XRP trading at $2 right now instead of $20 per coin? Well, we have to remember, as I've been telling everyone, I want you just to remind yourself of this whenever you're wondering why the markets aren't going up, okay? So right now, there is nobody to buy the tokens as the market pumps. What I mean by that is if you look at retail buyers, you, me, average, everyday, regular people. I'm not talking about billionaires that are making these markets move. Retail investors, people who buy it when it's getting really exciting. Oh my gosh, this is exciting. FOMO kicks in. Retail buyers start to buy, right? Now, you're a genius because you're here early. You're listening to all of our videos on this channel. You're subscribed and you're understanding these moves before they happen. But understand this. These big banks, these big institutions, they cannot pump the market up, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, or whatever. So Bitcoin trading at 85,000 right now, they can't surge that up to $125,000, $140,000 right now per token because there's not enough regular, normal people that have enough money in their savings to buy it all. As I continue to follow along and tell you guys about this, people are behind on their mortgage. They're behind on their car payments. They're behind on their credit card. They're behind on everything. So they literally have no liquidity. That is also why we need to bring the interest rates down so people can refinance their debt. Then they feel more comfortable with the liquidity that they do have, meaning that their income that their job provides them is not just paying the debt. So a lot of regular, average, everyday citizens of the United States are in the same position as the United States government, as in it's an extreme debt. However, the U.S. regular retail investor can't just go out and print more money. The United States government can go out and print more money, which is exactly why there's the civil war going on with the Federal Reserve and Jerome Powell and Donald Trump. Now, obviously, the United States can't actually print the money. It's the Federal Reserve, and then we borrow it from the Federal Reserve and pay them back, and then our debt goes up. Well, we need the interest rates to come down so Donald Trump can renegotiate the debt. It doesn't even matter if it was Donald Trump or whoever was president, but a smart president needs the interest rates low so we can then refinance the debt for the entire country, which then can help build the economy here in the United States. Which brings me to the next thing. At least people do have jobs. So people are at least making payments on most of their debt, and most people have jobs still, so they can have a little bit of extra money, but it's not a huge stockpile like we saw in the previous runs. That's why a lot of people are waiting for that potential stimulus check to come out, because then everyone can clear their debt as far as like the extreme debt obligations and then get back to their degenerate level self instead of crying in the corner because they have 5 creditors calling them, trying to get in touch with them all day, every day. They have $5,000. They can just go blow it on whatever they want, just have some fun with that money. But jobless claims hit a stability level, okay? So Bitcoin price needs to push above 85,000 to keep the current bullish momentum from fizzling out, because we are on the higher timeframes of the weekly charts, which will show you in still a bullish momentum. The daily charts, not so much. The dip in the jobless claims indicated that the U.S. labor market remains stable, with fewer people being affected by the uncertainty of the tariffs. Initial jobless claims are leading economic indicator that measures the health of the economy and is often impacts investor sentiment around risk assets like Bitcoin. As we can see from March through April, the forecast has been beat except for one time. April 10th, the forecast was 223 and it was actually on the number. This last report lower by 10,000. Previous report lower by 6,000. Previous report lower by 1,000. Previous report lower by 1,000. But still, we're in the green, which is positive, which builds sentiment for the markets. And yesterday at a press conference at the Economics Club of Chicago, Jerome Powell came out and said, the level of the tariff increases announced so far is significantly larger than anticipated. The same is likely to be true for the economic effects, which will include higher inflation and slower growth. That is what Jerome Powell said. However, in reality, the numbers that have been coming out show the complete opposite. The tariffs have actually continued to bring prices down and are lowering inflation. So what does that mean for Bitcoin? Well, it remains at an inflection point right now. Bitcoin prices have consolidated into a tight range over the past few days, failing to break above 86,000. As we can see, it has started to form a symmetrical triangle pattern, and this anonymous trader out there, Titan of crypto, said that Bitcoin is at its inflection point. He said, Bitcoin is at an inflection point on the 1 hour chart. Bitcoin is contracting within a triangle and is about to choose a direction. The RSI is above 50 and attempting to break its resistance. A move is brewing. And the great thing is, historically, good job numbers help build Bitcoin's price to the upside. And what we've really been following along with really is the M2 money supply, which has been surging like crazy. And we're just waiting for Bitcoin to follow and surge to the upside, just like M2, which we can see very clearly here in this chart. The green line is Bitcoin price, which is currently hovering right here at about 85,000. Global money supply is currently done the same exact move, but it's pumped already. And it's currently sitting at this level here. And it is currently running on a 12-week lead time. It's typically less than that. So the exciting news is, at any moment's notice, Bitcoin can surge and make a copy of the M2 money supply, running up to around $140,000. So let's check in on XRP in the charts. Now, an interesting scenario has started to develop. We did have this interesting symmetrical pattern that did play out for us at the end of December, beginning of January, and that made its run up to its new all-time high of $3.40. Ever since then, we have been on a downward trajectory. But if you take this same ray and you move it from this pivot point to this pivot point right here, you'll notice that we've started to create a very interesting support line for a trend line. And unfortunately, if we have rejected here and we've continuously been in lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high right here. Now, one could argue the fact that the body did close above this level right here, creating a potential new higher high, which would be very, very positive news for us. But if not, remember, we do have this support level at $1.90. But if we continue to lose that and this trend stayed relatively intact, we could be heading to the $1.50 level to the downside. So keep that in mind. And if you're new here, where are these trend lines coming from? They're actually coming from the drop in price of 2018 after that all-time high back then. And it has a pivot point with the ray drawn right here on April 12th, 2021. That's that high of 2021. And that gives us a line into the future, which then becomes our new support and resistance lines. And they have been extremely, extremely good and spot on. So again, support at $1.90, resistance coming in at $1.23, and then $1.50. That's what we're going to continue watching. Now, what I also want to point out is our short-term momentum wave, the shaft trend cycle here, has reset to zero on the weekly. Last time we reset to zero was here, and that's when we had the big move to the upside, and then also a pullback and a surge to the all-time high, all within the move to the upside. We were also in the green here above the zero line on the Wolfpack long-term momentum indicator. So right now, like I was saying, weekly looks strong on XRP. Let's even check out Bitcoin. As we can see, short-term momentum wave on the weekly has reset to the low side. Long-term momentum is still bullish. We're still riding green. If we take a look at Bitcoin on the daily charts, our short-term momentum wave has reached a top, And down here, our long-term momentum wave, interestingly enough, is about to cross back above the zero line, which is very, very positive because whenever we are above the zero line, price action be moving to the upside. And last time we had a significant break to the upside was September 2024. It had a little retest here, but ultimately took an extreme ride to the upside. The whole time we were riding in the green, every time our short-term momentum reset to zero and made a move up, we can see we started making very strong gains to the upside. The reason I bring that up is we're about to cross above into the green, which will be bullish on this daily chart for Bitcoin, which we've been very bearish now because we crossed over to bearish back on February 5th, even though we were already starting to turn bearish. But even on the indicator confirmation-wise, but now we are looking at potentially crossing to the upside. Now, the one thing we have to be careful of here is the potential of it rejecting off this level and then continuing back down to the downside. As we looked on the daily charts of XRP, we had actually created a new higher high. And if we take a look here, we had this lower low and then this lower high. Price came down, made a new lower low. And unfortunately, we did not get a new higher high. We need to get above this $88,000 level with the body close to give us confirmation of a new higher high. So Bitcoin could be on the brink of a breakout to the upside. Good jobless claims. The economy hasn't fallen apart with tariffs. There are peace talks potentially going on with Ukraine and Russia. Jerome Powell may be getting fired. All of these could be catalysts for Bitcoin to surge to the upside. With a Bitcoin surge, then we would have a XRP follow along. Now, we are not as close to flipping bullish on the daily charts for XRP, unfortunately, but that's just how it goes. We are still riding bearish. We can even see that through bearish market structure as well. But make sure you subscribe. Make sure you check back in because we will let you know as soon as we break above our Wolfpack zero line here for long-term momentum daily. Also, not a great sign. Our 3-day Wolfpack indicator also broke down below the zero line. And this was the end of March. So we've been down here. It was trying to make a recovery back to the upside and not. So only our very high time frames, monthly, weekly, is still bullish. Right now, daily and also 3-day charts are turning bearish. But the good thing is we are still holding very strong support at $1.90, really $2. XRP is not wanting to give up $2, which is a beautiful thing. But we really do need to see some global liquidity flowing into crypto, which is why I'm always paying so much close attention to our market cap. We need to be above $3 trillion, in my opinion, to really feel like the bull market is back. So that's why you're here. Like I said, you're a genius. Thank you for subscribing. That's why you're paying attention to the market cap of the total crypto market. For those of you guys that are not just buy and holders, some of you guys out there are day traders, so you're going to want to check this out.
Most people that are interested in crypto trading don't have the time to manage their entries and stop losses, so they invest with emotion, and that's why they lose. So we have a powerful way for you to make money by directly copying our trades and other successful crypto traders. And copy trading is one of the easiest and most popular ways to make money in crypto. Copying other traders that had more experience than me is how I became a crypto millionaire before 30 when I was new to the industry back in 2016, but I had to manually enter the trades myself, which was super stressful because I didn't understand how to properly set up stop losses or take profits back then. So I ended up missing great entry points or holding longer than I should have, losing out on potential profits. That's why leveraging a copy trading platform that does this for you is the best way to go. And how it works is the exchange will put in the orders for you when you copy another experienced trader. That way you don't have to manually follow the trade alerts or enter or exit trade positions sitting at a computer all day long. And it's very easy to get started with too. All you have to do is go to the link in the description below this video and create your free account, deposit any crypto asset that is listed on the platform, and then choose which trader you like to copy that has the best win rate. In full disclaimer, because we believe in transparency, we do earn a small commission for every trade that you make on the exchange, but that helps support videos like this to help you succeed. And you can also get exclusive access to our top altcoin picks and breaking crypto news updates as well inside of our Telegram group through the link below this video. So check that out. I know you're going to love it.